because of all this dysfunction that you put me through for no good reason. I don't even know how to let a good man, an actual good man, love me. I don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like.
Your father was the same way. I put up with all kinds of things. All kinds of things until I couldn't anymore. Baby, you might think you love him, but don't let him waste your time like your dad did mine.
Okay, Zatima fans, a fun comparison I thought about when I was doing my live streams last night was that when you think about it, Fatima's mom reminds me of Karen. And when I say that, I mean looking at Fatima's mother, especially how she talks about Fatima's birth father, this is who Karen is going to become when she gets older. So for the sake of this video, and I know people don't want to hear it, but for the sake of this video, let's say Karen's unborn baby belongs to Zach. For simplicity's sake, let's just say that she is carrying Zach's baby. Now, I'm not saying these two get back together. I'm not saying that at all. But here's what I'm thinking. When this child is born and when this child gets older, obviously we don't know if it's boy or girl, so I'll just say they, just for the sake of, I don't know the gender of the baby, but this child, they'll get older, and somewhere down the line they'll be in Fatima's position where they could be dating someone that perhaps, let's say, Karen doesn't approve of. And then, well, even before they get to an age where they're dating somebody, throughout their lifetime, I think Karen, who we don't know who she'll end up with, I don't know if she's going to be with Aaron or John or whatever that woman said his name was. Let's just say she does stay with Aaron. Let's just say she was with Aaron. I think it's going to be one heck of a childhood, because I bet without a shadow of a doubt Karen will continue to talk about Zach the way that Mona talks about Fatima's real father. Mona is a woman who reminds me of Miss Lisa, and the fact that both of them they kind of wasted their best years on a man who wasn't good enough. Mona says that, I wasted my best years on your father, and he was, trash, and I left him in the gutter where he belonged. And then Miss Lisa talked about how Karen's dad was like Zach, and the fact that, oh yeah, well, just like you, Karen, I go for the bad boys and whatnot. But it turned out that he wasn't really mature. I had to wear like the pants in a relationship and, keep things afloat because he wasn't really good for anything. But think of it this way. Miss Lisa, what was it, early season 5 when Karen was in the hospital, the way Miss Lisa talked about Karen's father, it came from a place of, you know what, I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know I deserved better, and then I eventually, we parted ways. She was speaking about Karen's father in a tone with a vibe of growth, experience, and wisdom. And she's moved on, obviously. Mona, she talks about her father like they had just broken up yesterday. And I think the moment I really, just caught this was the moment where she first started talking about Fatima's father after Zach had already left. Pay attention to her stepfather, the way his head kind of just, falls to the floor. It's kind of like, oh, here we go again. Despite being the quote unquote better man than Fatima's birth father, I feel like he's never heard the end of it. It's like, oh, the last man I was with, he was trash and blah, 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 blah. It's just one of those things where I could see Karen being that woman in her, like, dang. I mean, if Karen is said to be, 36 in episode 1 of Sistas, and these characters are all in their, like, late 30s, I guess we can assume her parents are, or let's just talk about her mother. Her mom would have to be, at least late 50s, mid 60s or something. Looks good for her age, though. But, she was the kind of person where she just never let go of the bitterness. She always felt like she was shortchanged and whatnot. And there are certain things we don't know. Like, for all we know, she could have been the one to kick him to the curb. And just like Zach, Fatima's father had a come up, another woman came along and he just, rose up in rank in society and whatnot. And she felt shortchanged. We don't know. Keep in mind, We don't know his side. There's two sides to every story. For all we know, she's talking all this trash to make, Fatima's father seem like a bum, but didn't tell her the truth. I bet growing up, it's like, oh, your father, he was garbage, or he either left the family, or, I left him because he was, lower than dirt. But in reality, it wasn't like that at all. Kind of like, Karen, she'll be running her mouth out. Your daddy doesn't care about us because he left me when, I was pregnant with you, and he went off to marry some other woman and start a family with her and this, that, and the third, without saying that, well, I'm the one that broke up with your dad, and, I chose your stepfather over him. And, I don't, it's just one of those things where I can see Karen talking crap, even though she's only going to speak from a place of zero accountability. And when I listen to Fatima's mom talk about her birth father, we don't know the story. I mean, how do we know she wasn't, she came from nothing herself. She acts all bougie and whatnot now, like she, was, I don't know, in a middle class, upper class family, but decided to go out with the rebel, and then decided she wanted better. But she probably came up from nothing herself, then decided this guy isn't going to, elevate my lifestyle. Kind of like Regine from Living Single, acting all bougie, yet you live in an apartment with two roommates. Like, she demands the best. It's like, come on, for real? That doesn't make any sense. So I really hope that as season 2 continues, we learn more about Fatima's family dynamic. But let me know what you think. Do you feel the same way, that Fatima's mom gives off the vibe of an older Karen, someone who takes zero accountability? Well, now that I say that out loud, that kind of reminds me of Fatima herself. I can see where her, I can see where Fatima gets it from. That sense of, I'm always right. The man is always wrong. I make no mistakes. I know what I deserve, and I take zero accountability. Yeah, it makes sense that that's her daughter. So, like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below, and I will catch you in the next one.